Hello, HMD 47 class. We are the passing team, and we thank you for joining us today to learn a little bit about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Without any further delay, let's get started.
This is our agenda for our lesson. The first thing we are going to go over is the definition of Maslow's theory and its key variables. The second thing we will be discussing is describing each need and looking at examples of the Maslow's theory to further understand. Next, we will analyze a real-life company and provide theory-driven recommendations. Then we will review Maslow's theory, and last but not least, we have provided an opportunity for extra credit that all the students may participate in. Remember, for our discussions, please number your comments. For example, on the YouTube user line, type your name, then follow with discussion 1 and your response, and then follow discussion 2 with your response. These two will be submitted in one post under the comments section on YouTube.
So let's define Maslow's theory. Maslow's theory is an approach in understanding motivation. Created by a famous psychologist named Abraham Maslow, his theory lays out each need that one must fulfill. It is broken down into a pyramid. It looks just like the one on this slide. The needs have to be fulfilled in a specific order, starting from the bottom to the very top, with physiological, safety, love and belonging, esteem, and finally with self-actualization. We will go in depth of each need, but before we go into defining these key variables, we want you to share what you think the definition of need is. What is the definition of need?
Pause the video here and take a moment to develop your response for discussion 1 in the comment section below. Do not submit your comments until the end of the video. Once you're ready, you may resume playing the video again.
The definition of need is a thing that is wanted or required. But according to Maslow, he states that a human requirement that is important for an individual to achieve complete development and self-actualization. So now that we know what need is, let's talk about the first need in Maslow's theory.
The first need and the foundation of the pyramid is physiological needs. This can include anything from food, water, and shelter.
So let's look into the physiological needs. This type of need is basic human survival needs. It is the first and ultimate foundation of the pyramid that one must have in order to go up the pyramid. Without them, individuals cannot function, which is why we need this foundation. Maslow considered this need to be the most important before proceeding to the next need. 85% of people are meeting these needs currently.
The second need is safety and security. This can include anything from job security, health and wellness initiatives, disability, and work accommodations.
So all of these are basic needs as well, but they can only be fulfilled when your physiological needs are fulfilled. To further expand, individuals seek fulfillment and safety by also surrounding themselves with friends, family, and society. Purpose of this need is to avoid feeling any danger or influences. Also, when safety is not being met, stress and anxiety happens. We see that 75% of people are meeting this need. The physiological and safety needs are the first two levels we call basic needs. Very generic but essential. If you have food, shelter, and security, you are set. So now let's talk about belonging and love needs. The third level is need for love, the need to belong, and the need to have support from your friends and family.
So this level of need is what Maslow calls our social needs. It is a need to communicate with others, being social and interactive with others. When belonging and love is not being met, there is a feeling of isolation and feeling alone. About 50% of people are meeting their social needs. Isolation is not good for everyone because it can lead to the feeling of loneliness, social anxiety, and clinical depression. That's why we are struggling to self-discipline during this crisis. Remember to stay at home. Moreover, related to the work environment, it's fun being in a team and working with others.
The fourth level of Maslow's theory is esteem needs. This relates to ego and status development.
Esteem needs is divided into two categories, which are reputation and self-respect. There is a quote that states, "The people that matter don't judge, and the people that judge don't matter." This quote summarizes very well of what esteem needs is. In this level, 40% of people are meeting this need. We as humans like to feel confident and celebrated after achieving something. From this, we like to further gain respect from others when we reach this level.
The last level of Maslow's theory is called self-actualization. It is our need for wanting morality or a sense of it, and the need for self-acceptance.
Self-actualization needs being who you are and living up to your full potential. That is very important. Individuals who are seeking personal growth also is self-actualization needs. Finding your purpose that motivates you to do your best while being innovative and creative. It states for self-fulfillment needs, 10% of the people are meeting this need. To reach this level, think of it like climbing a mountain. You start from the very bottom, but as you go up, you will encounter different checkpoints with flags you need to collect to ensure you're going the right way. These checkpoints are levels. You can't go from the bottom to the next level unless you collect these flags. At these checkpoints, you also need to make sure you are eating, resting, and breathing. As you get to the next checkpoint and the next, you finally reach the top of the mountain, the highest level. That's when you self-realize that you did it. You reach your full potential. That's Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
If you're still a little confused about each need, let's look at a video about Maslow's theory of needs represented in Despicable Me.
This video is courtesy from YouTube.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here, you can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space. With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy. Clap along.
Banana. Banana. Banana? Huh? No. Mocha banana? No. Banana. Huh? What? Oh, Uraka. Huh? Banana.
If you feel like a room without a roof, 'cause I'm happy. Clap along if you feel.
Bye, have fun. Sorry, dude. They can't ride without an adult. What?
Like alone if you feel like a room without a roof. 'Cause I'm happy. Clap along if you. love is too high, it bring me down. Can't nothing bring me down. I said, tell you now.
Looking good, Kevin. How's the family? Good? All right. That's my Billy boy. What up, Larry? Hello, everybody. You all right? Simmer down. Simmer down.
Happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you.
I've got it! I've got the moon!
Bring me down. Your love is too high. It bring me down. Can't nothing bring me down.
Let's take a moment to discuss what we have learned so far. Discussion number 2. Which of Maslow's needs are important to you? Pause the video here and take a moment to develop your response for this discussion number 2 in the comment section below. Do not submit your comments until the end of the video. When you are ready, you can play the video again. Alright, let's discuss. Everyone has different values and beliefs, therefore everyone will have a different answer, of course. Also, think about this. What if our needs are not fulfilled? This raises a question.
What is a needs gap? Need gap is the lowest level of unfulfilled need. Maslow's theory suggests again that needs are hierarchical. You cannot go up a pyramid unless you start with the foundation, with the first level on the bottom.
Fulfilling fulfilled needs cannot motivate someone. Fulfilling a need above the unfulfilled need would not work either, for example. If someone is hungry, giving them esteem would not matter. Not everyone can be motivated by one common need. We need to consider all levels of needs.
To resolve unfulfilled gaps, an organization should conduct a need gap analysis to know what motives employees at a particular point of time. What are their needs? How can we fulfill them effectively? Considering cost and return on investments. Once this is complete, leaders of an organization can now build the foundation of Maslow's pyramid and move up. Theorists are now sharing that each level can coexist at the same time. We'll start at the bottom and move up, but when we are on a certain level, the previous levels are still ongoing. Keep that in mind as we look into how Maslow theories applies to the real work environment.
So, how do we motivate someone with Maslow's theory? Well, by ensuring that individuals have access to opportunities and resources that fulfill their needs, which will influence them to grow and excel at their work. For a leader, Maslow's theory in a workplace should be considered as a checklist.
Managers create the foundation of Maslow's pyramid by evaluating employees' needs through listening, observing, and being part of the work environment. By beginning to do these things, it will create a sense of care towards the employees and will guide them into fulfilling their own needs in the Maslow's pyramid. The first essential need that managers must ensure is that the organization has a roof, lights, clean water, and air. Managers have to make sure that they are providing the necessary resources that employees need in the workplace to make sure that the business can run with normal and comfortable operations too. Once you have these two levels fulfilled, you can check off physiological needs and safety needs.
They have to make sure there is a social work environment that is kind and caring, and an environment in which every team member is included. This can enhance teamwork and create a sense of connection. If managers implement activities that motivate employees to do better and offer incentives, they are more likely to create a more engaging organization. By creating a more engaging organization, it will allow others to feel more comfortable and recognized. Now we can check off belonging, love needs, and esteem needs.
Ultimately, this will create employee satisfaction and will therefore motivate employees to do better as they self-realize that all of their needs are fulfilled. Check off self-actualization.
Let's look at a real-life case study that applies Maslow's theory. A company that suffers from motivation problems is Steiner's, a Nevada-style pub. More specifically, the struggling department would be their management staff. Steiner's is a fun place to work thanks to a large majority of enjoyable coworkers, but there is one thing that they all have in common. They are not fans of management. Mostly designed to be a sports bar, Steiner's is a fast-paced pub with seemingly endless amounts of delicious food and drink options of all sorts that tends to get pretty busy, especially on weekends. The motivation problem originates from poor job performance influenced by management. Management never truly acknowledges the value of any employees and is often even fairly rude to them. On top of that, there is little to no communication when it comes to things such as shift coverages, shift length, release times, and etc. It is more likely than not that if you do not request to leave at your scheduled dismissal time, that you will be stuck at work hours after intended. These are a few concerns from employees. As a result of management influence on employees' job performance, the organization is facing dire consequences. These include, but are not limited to, high turnover rate as many employees do not feel comfortable in the work setting, and lower productivity due to employees not receiving the respect and esteem they desire. Combined, the organization is not reaching its profit and customer satisfaction goals.
Think about this. What levels of Maslow's theory are missing? The level that management disregards is love and belonging. Employees need to have their sense of connection and belonging and self-esteem recognition in order for their self-actualization needs to be fulfilled. The biggest need gap lies in the recognition, as it's hard to come in and do the same job over and over for someone who doesn't cherish one's employment or ever even acknowledge his or her hard work. In order to fulfill these employees' needs, we recommend doing little things throughout a shift, such as compliment or simply acknowledge how hard the employees are working. Also, trying to treat employees with the utmost respect and refrain from talking down or insulting them of their work. Lastly, practicing better communication by doing something small like creating a list of things needed to discuss with employees, like scheduling lunches and departures with servers, bussers, and bartenders.
Now that we have learned about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, let's recap. Maslow's hierarchy of needs was created by Abraham Maslow. He wrote about this hierarchy in A Theory of Human Motivation. His motivation theory suggests that there are 5 levels of needs that people have in their lives. They are physiological needs, safety and security, love and belonging, esteem, and self-actualization. These needs are hierarchical, meaning that it starts from the bottom and moves up. Fulfilling certain needs cannot motivate someone. Fulfilling a need above the unfulfilled need would not work either. All needs have to be considered in order to fully motivate someone. This will ultimately allow him or her to self-actualize his or her potential.
That concludes our presentation on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You can now submit your comment, which includes the 2 discussion responses from earlier in the presentation. Your comment will be visible below the video here on YouTube. If you need to review the key elements of Maslow's theory, we made a crossword puzzle for you. Follow the link on this slide. It is also available in the description below. This is optional, not required for submission.
Thank you again for participating in our discussion. Need some extra points though? Here's an extra credit opportunity for you. Make a TikTok response to our post, including your full name and your response to this question. Choose one hospitality organization and list how they fulfill employees' needs according to Maslow's theory. We will like your post when we have received it. Responses will be recorded through a Google Sheets form and submitted to Dr. Cass. Scan the TikTok QR code on the left to locate our account with the app. Have fun with this!
Thank you again for joining us today on our lecture about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Here are our references. Take this knowledge with you and become a great leader.